The Celtics are back and hungrier than ever. And could this be the beginning of the end for the Knicks? In Game 3, Boston didn't just win. They sent a message, a barrage of threes, suffocating defense, and a pace that made Madison Square Garden feel like a walk in the park. What changed? How did a team that stumbled out of the gate come roaring back? And why should every Knicks fan be worried? Stick around, because we've got behind-the-scenes insights, off-the-broadcast stats, and a detail about Game 4's tip-off time that almost no one's talking about, but could make all the difference. What got into the Celtics' heads? In Game 3, Boston looked like a different squad. After 2 games of brutal three-point shooting, they suddenly hit 50% from deep. That's not just technical, it's psychological. Jayson, Tatum and Jaylen Brown, slammed for being passive, responded with 7 combined threes. And it wasn't just volume, it was timing, smart shots, smart reads, and total emotional control. Joe Mazzulla didn't shake up the roster much, but the mentality shifted. More off-ball cuts, more patience in the pick and roll, and way more trust in the role players. The result? 115-93, a beatdown. But was it just a fluke or a warning shot? Are the Knicks melting down? Jalen Brunson is carrying the whole team, averaging 29.4 points per game. He's the second leading scorer in the playoffs. But the Knicks' second best? Karl Anthony Towns at just 19.1. That production gap is glaring. In Game 3, when Boston ramped up the pace and physicality, New York's supporting cast disappeared. Julius Randle's still out, Josh Hart can't get anything going offensively, and the bench might as well be a rumor. And worse, Thibodeau keeps sticking to a short rotation, draining his players early in the series. What looked like a home court edge turned into a disadvantage. The Garden went silent, and now the pressure is coming from inside. Who's going to stop the bleeding in New York? Can the schedule change the game? Game 4 tips off 30 minutes earlier. Seems like a small detail, but it's not. With the draft lottery happening the same night, the NBA moved up the start time, and that tweak messes with routines, warm-ups, and even mental prep. The Celtics, riding a wave of confidence, just need to stick to the script. But the Knicks? They need to fix both their tactics and emotions, and now they've got half an hour less to do it. In a series this intense, every detail matters. And guess what? Boston loves early starts. They've won 4 of their last 5 games in that time slot. Coincidence? Or a quiet edge? Has Boston already cracked the Knicks code? Game 3 looked like a dangerous script for New York. Boston didn't just hit 23s. They forced the Knicks to self-destruct. Bad switches, poor help defense, and spacing so lethal it erased the paint. Tatum led with quiet dominance, 28 points, but his impact went way beyond the box score. Brown played with anger, and that's a good sign. And the scariest part? Kristaps Porzingis still isn't back. If he returns healthy, this series could end quicker than anyone predicted. So now the question is, does New York have any kind of answer? Or are they just watching the collapse? The series is 2-1, but the momentum feels like it's shifted hard. If the Knicks don't punch back in Game 4, Boston in 5 is a real possibility. The Garden needs to be hostile again, Brunson needs help, and the Celtics? They just need to keep doing what they're doing. Now tell me, was Boston's Game 3 a one-off, or the start of a finals-worthy run? Drop your thoughts below, because in the next video we're breaking down how the draft could shake up the East-West rivalry, and what that means for the future of the Celtics. They had it in their hands, twice, and blew it. After jumping out to 20-point leads in Games 1 and 2, the Boston Celtics simply collapsed. Criticism? It came from everywhere. Memes, hate, headlines, Tatum smiling. But hold up, this isn't a story about failure. This is a cold, calculated turnaround. And maybe, just maybe, the beginning of a historic redemption arc. Because there's one thing fans still don't seem to get. This team hasn't said its last word. And what happened at Madison Square Garden in Game 3? That might have just been the start of the counterattack. But here's the real question. Can you actually trust them? Why did the Celtics collapse? How does the East's top seed get punched like that? Let's look at the facts. In back-to-back games, the Boston Celtics built 20-point leads, and lost. It wasn't bad luck. It wasn't the refs. It was a full-blown collapse. In Game 1, they gave up a 14-0 run in the fourth. In Game 2, they coughed up a string of turnovers in crunch time. It felt like Joe Mazzulla's squad had no emotional control. Meanwhile, the Knicks fed off trash talk, owned the paint, and dictated the tempo. And the media did what it does best, started asking if this Celtics team was really built for a title run, or just another overhyped mirage. Jayson Tatum became the lightning rod. The same Tatum fans compare to franchise legends, but in Game 3, something shifted. Did Tatum lose his mind, or just go genius mode? Who smiles with the season hanging by a thread? Jayson Tatum. While the world was demanding fire and fury, he walked onto the court, smiling. "I play with joy," he said. Playing angry isn't who I am. Not exactly the answer fans were hoping for, but it worked. Tatum dropped 22 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists. He knocked down 5 threes, the same total he had in both previous games combined. And more. Boston built a 31-point lead, their largest of the series, and this time they didn't let it slip. It was the Celtics playing like a true title contender, cool-headed, balanced, with a Tatum who was less furious and way more lethal. But was that just a one-night fluke or a true turning point? Can we trust this Celtics team now? Was it luck or the real fix? That answer's still up in the air. Boston dominated Game 3, but had only won one quarter in Games 1 and 2 combined. Coach Joe Mazzulla already warned what works in one game might fail in the next, and the Knicks know that. They're not folding, but here's the most important stat. Boston hit 15 more threes than New York. When this team gets hot from deep, they're nearly unstoppable. The problem? Inconsistency. The Celtics need to find an identity that lasts more than just 48 minutes, because losing Game 4 might dig a hole too deep to climb out of. But if they tie the series, the whole game flips, and when it does, everything changes. In the end, the question is simple. Did the Celtics learn from their own ghosts, or just sweep the dust under the rug? Game 4 isn't just a game. It's an emotional, tactical, and moral verdict. Either Boston is reborn, or it all comes crashing down. And if Tatum truly wants to be that guy, this is the moment to prove it. Because a smile is nice, but victory is what makes history. Now I want to know, do you still believe in this Celtics team? Or have you already lost faith? Let me know in the comments.